大仙の感動 Namanda, 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 Namandas, 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 Namandas.
Please join me in Gasho. The wondrous land, vast beyond measurement, is made up of adornments fulfilled through the primal vow. So bow down to and take refuge in Amida, the pure one who broadly grasps all beings, hymns of the Pure Land. Myodo Kodai Cho Shugen, Hongan Shogon Yori Okoru, Shoujo Dai Shouju ni Keishu Kimyo Seshimu Beshi. To Namandas, 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 Namandas. Good morning, everyone. Today's service is pre-recorded because I have to participate in the Honko service for Stevenston Buddhist Temple located in Canada. But today I kind of wanted to talk to you about customs. A lot of times, back when I was at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, but also here as well, I'm sure it would happen here as well, is that we would get new interested people who come by and check out our services, which they are more than welcome to, and we gratefully extend our open arms to them. But a lot of times what ends up happening is that they don't end up staying, or they kind of go for some reason or another, and they just kind of want to check out the temple, which is great, but sometimes they end up kind of not staying for too long at our temple. So I think, what causes this? I always wondered to myself, what is it that people want from Buddhism, or people want from this temple? And I think what happens is that a lot of times people want kind of a quick fix or a quick answer about Buddhism, and then they kind of move on. So they don't really want to stay here. They just kind of want to get an understanding of Buddhism very quickly, and then they kind of go on to the next kind of religious kind of center that they would want to check out. So I wonder, why is this the case? When I think about it, I think this religion is new to most people. I think it's very different for most people, and I think it's very hard to kind of get acclimated to a lot of the customs that we have at this temple. People are not used to the golden onaijin, right? Even something as small as these here, right? These adornments, right? Are all very, very different from what you would see, let's say, at another, maybe perhaps at a Christian church or at another Buddhist temple, right? When you walk into this temple, the scent is very different, right? The incense that we use, it smells very foreign and exotic, quote unquote. I know the feeling, right? I know the feeling. And the robes that the minister is wearing is very different. The mannerisms that we have, such as gasho and bowing, right? These are very different for many Americans, right? Regardless of race, it's for just Americans in general. I think it's very different. And here at this temple, and most of the temples are Buddhist churches here in America, we have seats, right? But a lot of temples, in Japan, you're supposed to sit on your knees, right? You're supposed to sit on the tatami floor mats. And so that means sitting on the floor, right? And so that's also very different. So a lot of these ornaments that we use here in the onaijin, the central altar, the central object of reverence being the Buddha, right? The mannerisms and the people here are all very different. So it seems very exotic, and it's very hard to get acclimated to this kind of environment, I believe, for many Americans, right? Also, another thing is chanting. I think chanting is very different from what people are used to, and I think it sounds very foreign, and it's very hard to get acclimated to that as well. But I do want to let the people know that the things that we chant are not in Japanese, okay? They are in the Kambun, which is a kind of outdated old Sino-Japanese language that mixes Chinese and Japanese together. But it's not written in Japanese, contrary to what a lot of people believe. Even within this tradition, a lot of people believe it to be Japanese, but it is not actually Japanese, okay? These sutras are written in Kambun, okay? So anyway, the point that I'm driving at is that it takes a long time to get acclimated to this religion. Unless you were a child growing up remembering coming to the temple and doing all of these things, right? It's very hard to get adjusted to this, right? If you're a child, children have a very adaptability to adjust to the situation and grow up with the situation and be able to kind of go along with it, flow with it, right? And they get used to things very quickly, right? Here at the temple for adults, it's very hard to get used to it, especially for a spiritual kind of journey. When there's a new organization or a new religion that you're trying out, it's very hard to kind of get acclimated to a new tradition. But I would like to say, please don't be disheartened by this. To kind of, if you're new to this religion, to please give it some time to settle in. If you've been coming to this temple for many years, but never really quite understood this religion, nor, quite frankly, nor really bothered to care about this religion other than the communal aspect of it, please give it time, right? Please give it time. It takes time to seep in, or to let the Buddha Dharma soak into our bones, right? It's like fine wine. The more years, the better, because the more experiences we have, that we can verify the truth of this teaching. So in Hiroshima, Japan, a hotbed of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, there is a commonly used phrase called dotoku, and the Japanese characters or the Chinese characters are do, tsuchi, and toku is virtue, dotoku, okay? Which literally means earth absorbed in the Buddha Dharma, okay? But let me explain. It means that the Buddha Dharma gets a chance to permeate its influence, its virtues, or the aroma, right? The fragrance of the Buddha Dharma throughout a certain area, so that the place becomes saturated with the Buddha's teachings. So it means to nurture a given area and its peoples so that they come to see the benefit of Amida Buddha's great compassion. The Buddha's teachings saturate the area so that the scent of the area even smells like the Buddha Dharma, right? So we have to have these services. We give Dharma talks and lectures and have community events so that the people there enjoy being in the environment of the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so that's the word dotoku. Okay, in the same way, this is what the temple is doing for us. It is leaving the scent of the Buddha Dharma to remain here in Union City, in the East Bay, in California, in America, here in the Western Hemisphere, and finally on Earth. The temple is a vital place. It's a vital place. It's a center of the Buddha Dharma. It's not just a community center, and we can't forget this very important point. SACBC is a temple at the end of the day. It is a Buddhist church. It is a place of worship that serves as the backbone of this community, which then spreads out to other activities such as, kendo or Japanese language school, bingo, scouts, basketball, what have you, etc., etc. But first, it's a religious center. All of these extracurricular activities are very, very important for this community. But this is the only place where we will get the Nembutsu teaching here in this area. This is something I think that is very important to kind of keep in mind. There's a common haiku poem known amongst Shin Buddhists, and it goes as follows. 根を締めて風に任せる柳かな。根を締めて風に任せる柳かな, which means, grounded by the roots, leaving all up to the winds, stands the willow tree. Grounded by the roots, leaving all up to the winds, stands the willow tree. So if you don't know, the willow tree is a very kind of, if you look at it from above ground, it seems like it's very flimsy, very weak, that it will break very easily. But the willow tree doesn't break as easily. And the reason for that is because of the roots that are underground that we cannot see. The roots that ground that tree to make it very strong and formidable. The winds can be high and it sways the tree to and fro, left and right. Thunderstorms come and it sways the tree to and fro, looking like as if it's going to break the tree, but the tree does not break. It does not break because it is grounded firmly into the ground, into the earth. In the same way, we need to find what spiritually grounds us, what grounds us in this turbulent and very precarious world. Especially in the times that we live in right now. It is very unstable. The political climate is crazy. The pandemic is not stopping. Climate change is becoming a major problem. It has been a major problem, but we keep ignoring this problem and the widening gap between the have and the have-nots. We leave it, in a sense, all up to the winds. We are swayed by these winds that sway us to and fro, but we do not snap. We do not break. And the reason for that is because we are spiritually grounded. We know that there is something greater to this reality than just what we are witnessing. The Buddha Dharma, Amida Buddha's great compassion, is what grounds us into this earth. We can now live with hope. We can now live with courage. And we can live with eventual lasting happiness and peace because we awaken to Amida Buddha's great compassion. So we have to be able to open ourselves up and receive the teachings. And the way we do that is by learning the customs of the Pure Land, the customs of Amida's country. And we do that first by putting our hands together in Gassho. I recently came back, I was in Japan and I came back some years back to America. And when I first went to Japan, I've shared this story a number of times already, but I'd like to share it one more time, that I went to a local Sento bathhouse that a friend recommended to me. And I went there empty-handed, thinking that I could use the soap and shampoo and all that stuff there, right? Because that's what I thought a Sento would have. If, an onsen has that, but not a Sento. A Sento is a local bathhouse, right? You're supposed to bring those things from your house. And so I go to the Sento, and as it turns out, luckily, there was a open stall, and I thought, and with a box there, and it had soap and shampoo there, which I thought was communal. And so I sat down and I started using the soap and the shampoo, and I thought this was great. This is a fantastic place. I'm going to start coming here. It's just down the block from where I live. I'm going to come here every day, right, and soak in this bathhouse, right? It's going to be great. And so I look inside the box because there seemed to be more stuff in there, and I thought, wow, that's quite a lot of amenities. I'm very happy with the soap and shampoo. But there was also, get this, a toothbrush. There was a toothbrush. I was like, toothbrush, wow. There's a toothbrush in here. There was also toothpaste. Toothpaste was also in that box. And I thought, this is awesome. This Sento is like, this is a local bathhouse, all these amenities, and I'm given all these kinds of things. It's funny that the toothbrush wasn't in any kind of packaging, but I didn't think anything of it, and I started using the toothbrush, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is great service. And I felt all eyes on me, but it didn't really occur to me that I was using someone else's stuff at that time. So anyway, I soaked in the bath, and I thought, oh, this is great. And then after some time, I left, and then I talked to my friend. And my friend later that day, he said, "Hey, so how was the Sento? Did you get a chance to check it out?" And I said, "Yeah, we got all these things that come with the bathhouse." And he says, "No, you're supposed to bring that from home." And so I, realizing that I used someone's toothbrush, I quickly went to the local drugstore and bought a bottle of Listerine and chug the whole thing or I use the whole thing. But anyway, that's something that I wanted to talk about to show that the customs of a new country, a new place that we're not familiar with, are very different. And they can be very daunting. They can be very exotic. They can be very different at first. But over time, these customs start to settle in. The customs of Amida's Pure Land start to settle in. Things like gassho, things like chanting, right? Jusege, right? Gagon chosegan, right? Things like gathas, ondoksan, right? All these things, the scent of the incense, the sight of the golden onaiji, all of these things start to become familiar, and it slowly starts to seep in and nurture us. So when we chant these sutras, bow in front of the Buddha, and when we sing gathas, listen to Dharma messages, we are not just going through the motions of church. We are actually, ever so slowly, becoming nurtured by the Buddha Dharma, by the Buddha, to eventually learn the importance of having this teaching in our lives. We can go out and live our busy lives, our busy schedules, go out on our vacations, have our nice dinners, right? But when it all gets much too crazy and much too stressful, we can come here where we can spiritually calm ourselves and listen to the Buddha Dharma. We are being nurtured, myself included. We are all being nurtured by the Buddha's teachings to learn what it means to let go of the self and open ourselves up to a deep and profound religion that accepts us for who we are. As we listen to the Nembutsu, we start to see and appreciate the world of Amida's compassionate activity. This is called tariki. Like learning the customs of another country, eventually we learn to live along the Nembutsu path. And before we know it, we are fully adopting the customs of a new place, saying Nammandaus, Nammandaus, Nammandaus. Even when we're not at the Hondo, not at the temple, right? We say Nammandaus, Nammandaus, right? This is the custom in Amida's country, and it's to say the Nembutsu. And when we say the Nembutsu, we are being nurtured to eventually come to see how privileged we are in knowing we have a place where we can truly be ourselves. And so with that, I would like to end. Please join me in Gassho. The wondrous land, vast beyond measurement, is made up of adornments fulfilled through the primal vow. So bow down to and take refuge in Amida, the pure one, who broadly grasps all beings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nammandaus, Nammandaus, Nammandaus.
When I'm feeling blue in the morning and things go astray in the day, I feel your bright light shining through. Say Namo Amida Butsu. When I'm walking through the forest, there's a quietness I can feel.